Hey, so I'm going to show you how I close high-ticket clients every week without cold DMing or chasing. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, you sell info, or you run an agency. This is important because if you clicked on this video, you're probably sending a bajillion DMs or cold emails and getting little broed by your leads. Meaning you keep having to convince people why they should get on calls with you. And when they get on calls with you, they suck. They're terrible people. You also send a bajillion DMs or cold emails and you don't get the results you want. Or you just have no time to send a bajillion DMs and emails because who does? You're a busy founder. I get it. And trust me, there is a world that a lot of us operate in where the prospects show up already sold. They're the customers you actually want. And you can get them consistently. You don't have to be starting from zero every month. You can decide not to build the business that way. And this is about using leverage. It's about becoming a leveraged operator. And I will show you how to do this. It's quite an easy fix when you know what to do and what to tweak. If you employ this stuff that we're going to talk about in this video, you can grow very quickly. I'm talking a complete business turnaround in about a quarter. And if you have all the pieces there and you just need to unlock scale and unlock growth, then in as little as a month. In an ideal situation, we sit down one-on-one, you and someone from my team, or someone from my team and you, we sit down one-on-one and I can take a look, or we can take an exact look at your business, but I can't because this is just a YouTube video. So I'm going to try and cover all the bases here so you can start implementing this stuff right away. Now, I must stress though that this is important. It's important that you get this right. It's important that you get this right and start implementing this stuff immediately because, number one, the only way you're going to survive long enough in business to really create the life you want and for your business to be sustainable is to have a system that operates predictably without you. And yes, this is possible and quite simple to do when you know what to do. And number two, this is important that you implement this immediately because the reason we got into business in the first place is not to be a slave to a job. So let's get you out of that situation ASAP. And that's why I'm here. And that's what me and my team are really good at. So if you don't know who I am, welcome. My name is Pablo. I'm the founder of Spectre, an AI consulting company. We turn founders into leveraged operators who run lean, hyper profitable, done with AI businesses. Essentially, we help you make a lot more money with a lot less work. And we've grossed over 7 figures with revenue directly attributed to the strategies that you're getting here in this video. And you can see these diagrams below for the smart protocols that we install into your business. Again, if you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're an agency owner, we can just plop this in. And today we'll be focusing a lot on the intelligence layer. So this document is available for free download. Here's some social proof. It's your first time here. I have a bunch of our agency clients. So we do agency work under Spectre. And then also, we coach other business owners too. So this document is available for free download. In the description, I make no income claims. My results are not typical. By the way, I have a whole testimonials channel and then all this fun stuff, case studies spread everywhere. So you can go through this on your own time. Cool. So we need to talk about why cold outreach is broken in 2026 before we talk about anything else. This is important. Because people watch these videos and they just want to go straight to the context, and that's fine, and they do it and then they mess it up. Why? Because context, if you are just doing blind execution without strategy, without context, you're just going to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and you're just going to get frustrated at yourself that nothing's working. So cold outreach isn't just hard now. It's misaligned with how buyers buy high ticket services and products. What do I mean? Or what's the evidence of this? So reply rates are lower. Trust is lower. We're all getting on calls and we're having to convince people, which is insane. And the positioning damage compounds, right? So these business owners you're talking to, or maybe you want to sell this AI stuff to the businesses, and we talk about that later in this video. They're getting on calls with all these rookies who don't know what they're doing. And they're like, oh my God, another dweeb I got to get on a call with who's going to ask me the same set of questions. And then totally like miss the mark on what exactly my business needs right now, or thinks they can come into my business and like tamper with things and somehow magically fix the business, and then they really can't, and these folks get burnt. And so like now you're getting on calls with people who are like, oh my God, yeah, I've been burned so many times before. Like I worked with another agency, or I worked with another coach and nothing happened. And so there's this misalignment because people keep misaligning things. There's a misalignment with how they're approaching these people and then what they're offering. And so this misalignment compounds. And so now you have a bunch of just frustrated business owners. And that's why it's so hard for you to get clients. I know who you are. I know what you're doing. You're posting into oblivion, or like you're sending emails into oblivion. I know. It's not like I built my own AI cold email agency and also built 2 coaching businesses and sold info and do agency services right now. Consulting. Anyway, so what do I mean by this? So the market is more sophisticated. If you're going to take anything away from this video, like an understanding from this video, it's this section right here. The market is more sophisticated. I don't think most people and most founders are truly aware of the landscape that they're operating in and the level of competition that is taking place right now. Every single client I get on calls with tells me that they are getting bombarded with cold outreach, cold emails, cold DMs, and that they are being force-fed ads. And this is where those who understand business strategy will excel, because you always need to, number 1, know the landscape. Number 2, you need to know how the landscape is morphing and shifting. And number 3, know what to do to cut through, and not just cut through, but to get ahead. I know that was a mouthful, but just keep up. You can replay this video later. So this is the equivalent of 1 million people knocking at your front door every day, trying to pitch you services, home internet, cable TV, donate to this charity, that charity. Literally, the most basic form of cold outreach is door to door. And so what happens? After a certain point, you will stop answering the door. This is what's happening right now for cold outreach. So, okay, cool. What does this mean, Pablo? What do we do? Look, you said a lot. Great. What do we do? So, well, the first thing to note is that you don't get rid of this, because you don't get rid of cold outreach because you need cold outreach to scale. And for my guys out there who are running ads or thinking of doing so, you need ads to scale. Unless you're going to hammer the content side. But you play the game properly, right? So you don't get rid of cold outreach or chasing clients. You stop chasing clients and you play the game properly. You play the game strategically. You have to make people feel like they came to you, like they found you on their own terms and on their own time, even though you strategically put yourself in their algorithm. So it's still cold. So what we're going to talk about is still cold outreach in a sense, but it's in a place that they call home. Or in a way that they feel comfortable. For example, in their news feed, their For You page, so on and so forth. You need warm inbound. In a nutshell, you need warm inbound to go alongside your cold outreach. Highlighting this right here. Oh, I missed it. You need warm inbound to go alongside your cold outreach. Cool. I don't know any business owner doing millions of dollars a year or a month who isn't employing this strategy right now. Please find me one. I'm sure they're out there, but like in terms of online businesses, I don't have any top of mind. The Hormozis of the world, the Grant Cardones of the world, the Russell Brunsons of the world, all of these behemoth operators, all of these behemoth entrepreneurs, they are all doing this. They're all doing warm inbound alongside their cold outreach, and they're all using this strategy because inbound gives you what? Leverage. And 2026 is about becoming a leveraged operator, because if you are not one, you will not survive. If you are not a leveraged operator, you will not survive. You are not even competition to someone who is leveraged, because you're not that good at cold outreach or ads. Like, you're not going to hit home runs every time. So you need leverage. You need to be able to do more with the same amount of input. It's not like you're not good enough at cold email or running ads or cold calling to be able to compensate for the level of market sophistication. Like your knock at the front door or your pitch at the front door is not good enough to compensate for the fact that the person's tired of opening the door. And or your offer just isn't there. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be. But being a leveraged operator will make you rich, or if you're already rich, it will make you richer. So let's break this down. So let's talk about the inbound closing framework, the inbound framework period. So there's 3 layers to this. But what we're going to discuss is a segment of the leverage growth engine that we build out for coaches, consultants, and agency owners. If you don't have this, you're not like, you don't stand a fighting chance in 2026. You just don't. You don't. You don't. So I showed this in the last video, but we are going to, there's the AI intelligence layer right there. But we are going to focus on this piece right here in the middle. Starting with like just the distribution and lead capture layer. So let's I simplified it a little bit. So here we are. Let me move this over here. Cool. So, all right. So it consists of three main layers. So number 1, content that attracts the buyer, and this is alongside cold outreach, by the way. I don't know a single business that hasn't started doing that hasn't seen a positive ROI on this within 90 days. Within 3 months. So number 1, you need content that actually attracts the exact buyer. Number 2, a mechanism that pre-sells. And then number 3, a call that qualifies and closes. This is the exact map. And I messed this up. Let me move this over here. There we go. Right. So this is essentially what it looks like at a high level before we get to, closing the actual client. So it's a content machine that runs 24/7 without you, and then the acquisition funnel that runs without you. So let's talk about layer 1. This is what I employ in my business, and it, the amount of leverage we have, we're able to do the work of 10 people with 3 people, meaning that we just make way more money with way less time and input. So layer 1 is the content that actually attracts people. Again, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about AI emailing or cold outreach. In this video, we'll talk about cold emails and ads in another video. This is important because this is what helps you go from like a little agency or tiny little consulting or coaching business to a real operation. Like your business should look like this right here. And if it doesn't, if it's like 2 or 3 layers of this, you're not going to be able to compete. You're not. Because the next person who is doing this, the leveraged the operator who is leveraged, they will just outspend you or outproduce you. So layer 1 is the content that actually attracts people. So so let's actually really dive into this. So there are specific pieces of content that actually bring in buyers and not just browsers, right? And so under 1,500 subscribers, like we were doing over 40K a month just from YouTube, 50K a month, no problem, right? And this is YouTube, but also in combination with that, like short form and stuff like that. But the reason why it's so profitable is because the video targets the actual problem and not like just talks about the topic, right? So for example, one of my most popular videos on this channel is this right here. Like that is a version of me that is me, a clone of me that is always selling. Like people are always running into that for the first time. Always. It never sleeps. It actually compounds on itself. And so if you think about it, like if you look at the number right there, the number of views, like those only people who are remotely interested on that click it. Right? So it's not like a cold email where it's like, I got to try and barge my way through the front door. Again, don't get me wrong. That stuff is great. You send enough emails, you're going to catch someone. It's just like if you make a certain amount of cold calls, you're going to catch the right person. Here, only interested people click on it. And when one interested person clicks on it, YouTube finds someone who might be like them and recommends it to them too. So now it just kind of, it like moves through the web of people on YouTube, and this is how it compounds and grows. That's why it's so deadly and so important for businesses to install this right now. If you're a coach and you don't have a YouTube channel, if you're a consultant, if you're an agency owner, you don't have a YouTube channel, like you need to hook up with us, and we need to do this for you, install this for you, and come help you with your brand strategy and content strategy, because you are leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. You just are. So that's layer 1. And then layer 2, really important. Like people will have content on YouTube and, they think they can do it on their own. Great, cool. Sometimes they can. Most, like 95% of the time they cannot. Because there's a copywriting aspect and so on and so forth, and like the ideation and the strategy behind it that they just don't understand. So level 2 is the pre-sale and conversion asset. So whether it's an automated webinar or a VSL or a case study, for example, right? So what we do is we use AI to scan our calls, gather questions, pain points, desires, FAQs, objections. We gather all that stuff, feed it to the AI, and then use the AI to refine our messaging and our content production, and our paid ads campaigns too. Again, I'm saving that for another video because I can make a whole playlist of videos on what we're doing with paid ads. It's amazing. But we use this information and apply the AI intelligence layer right there, and a few of these different AI protocols to really enhance the messaging of the content, to make it more accurate, to really dial in the content and conversion assets. So that webinar, that VSL, this is how our VSLs and webinars convert the way they do, to the point where it sounds like we're just reading their mind. And this is what allows us to build out webinars and VSLs so quickly. This is really easy to do when you have the right template. And we make killings doing webinars, automated webinars, live webinars, VSL, so on and so forth. So this is stuff that we can build out for you too. Anyway, I've literally made over 30 unique VSLs manually. And the VSLs that are doing the best is just from what I'm doing now. Just take AI and use AI to enhance the VSL. So don't overcomplicate this, right? The best VSLs are not like the high produced ones. The best VSLs are built upon feedback and then just go straight towards teaching and delivering value. Just kind of like this video. Like this would make for a really great VSL right here. Easy, no problem. So we even use AI to help map out the content strategy and brand strategy for businesses. And it gets to a point where it's so dialed in that it just doesn't miss. And so we're catching the exact golden prospects that we want in the vast sea of people. And so I'm putting you on to what we do so that you can do this. You know what to do for your own business. We're talking about how to close high ticket clients every week without chasing cold DMing or cold outreach. Like this is how you do it, right? Use the AI, use the data in your business to map out content strategy, business strategy. I think we have it's like a 15+ page brand strategy document outlining our ICP, pain points, desires, what they say, common taglines, titles, so on and so forth. And it gets to a point where it's so dialed in that it won't miss if you do this. And so what happens is you will start catching the exact golden prospects that you want in the vast sea of people. And this done with AI, this done with AI model, I almost dropped my phone, even produces content ideas and briefings for us every morning. All right, so imagine a situation where every morning you're getting a YouTube video outline, email newsletter outline. You're getting something to add to your automated newsletter sequence, that welcome sequence, short form ideas, and other nurturing items, to where over time you and your clients, or over time your clients just become, to your clients, you just become the obvious best choice, right? Because you're literally using your client's language right back at them. So there's no guessing anymore. There's no spending time brainstorming content anymore, or wasting time spraying and praying and sending BS DMs and emails and launching BS ads, because that's what the vast majority of people and your competition is doing. This is why it's so easy to stand out. And if you want to get into AI and generate real capital with this is why it's so easy for you to stand out as a service provider if you want to sell these protocols to other businesses. That being said, everything we do speaks one-to-one with our exact client on their level. And if you do this, it will take you zero time to produce the idea of it, because you can introduce co-working situations. It's done with AI. It's not done like, it's not AI replacing you. It's done alongside AI. It's in co-creation, co-working. So, and that is leverage, my friend. That is what leverage is. It's being able to use these in a way to where just off of the same amount of input you're creating and producing and generating 10 times more. And that is how you make a lot more money with a lot less input. It's about working smarter. Again, this is exactly this is the AI, this is the intelligence layer that we're talking about. So it's essentially taking, like, most people are running very caveman-like businesses, like archaic businesses. And the only way you or any other business is going to survive is if you run a smart business, meaning the business learns from itself, from the data it gets fed. And it has to be fed data in the first place. And so layer 3 is the actual call, and this call essentially closes itself. So I don't know if you've ever dealt with a call from a prospect who is pre-sold, but it is wildly different from dealing with a complete stranger and trying to convince them to give you money. It is hard. That is hard to do. And I'm quite good at sales, but it's still very hard. The advantage you have when someone has seen you first and has had all the time that they need to binge and digest your stuff, the advantage that they have or that you have is insane. There's a lot less convincing that you have to do, but the call is just as good for refining your data and improving your business intelligence. And so really this is what the team and I spend most of our time doing on calls. So as a side note, I want you to start seeing your business as its own living, breathing organism. You have to separate it from yourself. This is very, very, very important. This is one of the big unlocks because it is its own thing. And we are now in the age of smart businesses. So just like smart TVs, your business can get smarter. It can get better. And all of your data averages and metrics go up, closing rate, so on and so forth, including your bank account. So look, look at this data with your current strategy. So you probably have like a 10 to 20% closing rate. If you're running ads and you're still figuring it out, like, there's some exceptions, but really it should be at a minimum is 10 to 20%. 2 to 4 hours a day you're spending just on prospecting or just on doing outreach or just on creating ads, and you haven't even touched the rest of the business. So you're unfortunately neglecting the rest of the business, and thus you are not growing, which is part of why you're here. Now the data adds a leveraged operator, and when it's done with AI, you have a 70% plus closing rate, depending on how good you are at sales. But it's probably 4 to 5 times what it is right now, 3 to 5 times. You're spending 2 to 4 hours a day on the whole business rather than just on one piece. Because of this, if I don't want to, I don't need to work more than 4 hours a day. I don't. So now the most common failure point with all this, right? So let's say you do all this stuff, right? Let's say you crank this up, you install the growth engine here. It's called this because when you install this, any business grows. And you're doing all this stuff and you're feeding all this stuff to AI and using AI to help you with creating that warm inbound stream of clients. Let's say you do all this stuff, right? Now, a lot of folks do this and they'll start putting out content. They'll run layer 3 without layer 1 and 2. And then they'll blame the offer, for example, right? And the offer is probably fine, but it's usually the front of the funnel that is leaking. Like, people don't do this top of funnel stuff right. They don't do the content piece right, or they don't do the ads right. They just don't. They just don't. And so this is why it's so important to take the data inside of the business. So take your sales calls, take the comments from the YouTube channel, take all the objections you receive, take the emails you receive from prospects or clients, interview people in your market. Like, one of the things we get folks to do is to just set up interviews with folks on their email list. I did this before I built the coaching program within Spectre. And I just interviewed about a dozen people and just gathered feedback on what they would want from a coaching program and use that to make the program. And that also allowed me a springboard to start making content that would really cut through. You should do that so that everything else works. And so you know that the offer is something that people would actually want, because you're just going to sit down with them and straight up ask them what they want. And then use that to make the webinar, the VSL, or whatever it is, that is your conversion mechanism. Now, that being said, in terms of immediate action steps, so if you do not have this warm inbound or self-conversion layer in your business yet, meaning if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, if you're not running profitable ads yet, by the way, in 2026, ads does not work in a silo. You're going to need some content. If you really want the high ROI numbers, you're going to need some content. Anyway, if you don't have any of this stuff, I would actually just slow down on what you're doing. I would slow down on the cold outreach activity on your calendar this week. I would free up those hours and I would start to work this into the business. Specifically this segment of the entire leverage growth engine. Right? So this right here. There you go. cool. So like this right here. So you're really looking at like the content machine and then like the top half of this acquisition funnel right here. And then start building out some of those protocols of, you know, it's easier to do this when you have a template, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you can probably cut through just as quickly with short form content when it's done right as you can with like cold outreach and paid ads. And of course, if you're good enough. And what you should also do is, again, use your existing data from your sales calls or from your competitors. You can literally just scan like the internet and get the data you need. This is why it's so easy for us to do, and why it's laughably easy to win nowadays, or to help a business win. Use the existing data from sales calls, from the internet, from competitors. Plan out and upload some content, or use this to refine your ads in a way that speaks directly to your ICP's sharpest pains. Record it, don't polish it. If you're running ads, you probably want to edit it. At the very least, cut out the gaps. And you can use AI to spot trends, patterns, and then help you come up with the ideas. This is a very, very, very small glimpse, by the way, like a very small glimpse into what we do to make our content so laser targeted and thus so hyper profitable. But you need to start doing this now because you need time for this to compound. Cool. So that being said, we're using this to build out ICP maps, brand strategies, content strategy, audit offers, do done for you content plans, done for you brand strategy, done for you content strategy, done for you email flows, done for you VSL scripts, done for you ad scripts, funnel audits, done for you funnel builds. If you're running ads, done for you ad scripts. Like, we do this stuff for businesses, and the reason why it's so accurate is because we're just taking the data from the clients and the prospects themselves. Cool. Anyway, so I'll leave that there. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Otherwise, see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.